Namaste, Jai Bharat. The geopolitics might move in directions entirely unexpected and at times unwanted as well in this region. The people generally say that the ceasefire has been agreed between Bharat and Pakistan, but what that is not the case. There is also a narrative, none other than by President Trump, that it's he who facilitated the ceasefire. To begin with, there is no question of ceasefire between Bharat and Pakistan. There are solid reasons because they had their nuclear arsenals exposed. And the nuclear arsenals must have suffered considerable damages in the some airstrike, which is inadvertent because we did not know that this Kinnar Hills, of course, Kinnar Hills, the which they call Kinnara, is a Bharati concept. Yaksha, Kinnara, Gandharva, Vidyadhara. These are all groups of people. So maybe it's from the Kinnara Hills or Kinnar Hills, which they say. We have no idea that where they have this arsenals kept. That's called stockpile kept. They suffered some serious damage, and there is considerable amount of radiation coming out. Because of all these things, Pakistan went begging to US, and then the US had been keeping a neutral stand, had told Bharat that the situation has been explained. So there is a ceasefire, but they announced that they have facilitated ceasefire, but that really is not the case. They have said, then we told them, speak to us, ask them to speak to us. Then the Pakistan speaks to Bharat. Then we have no details of the discussions between them. And then, of course, the operation was put in abeyance. It was paused. We have not ended the operations. Operation Sindoor is not ended. It's not ceasefire. It's a temporary standstill. That's it. So let no one take claim. Let no one claim credit for this kind of thing. That should not happen with senior people. But anyway, that's politics. People can do anything. So that's one thing. Secondly, Pakistan has been collaterally damaged. It's not a joke for such a tiny country to get their 12 air bases destroyed. It's not just runways that is getting destroyed. We don't know. The runway facilities also should be naturally destroyed, including cable connections and other equipments, power, and all kinds of things, and water supply, power, everything. Things could have been disrupted. It would take time. It would take time to restore the destructions that caused, and then to what extent they are quickly capable is speculated. One can speculate. One thing. Then, in the meantime, something else also is happening side by side. That look, our weapons, Bharatiya weapons, our own indigenously designed missiles, Pinaka, whatever it is, our weapons, they demonstrated their ability in an amazing manner. They were 100% successful, and our air defense also remained 100% successful. It's something like a story book. This kind of 100% success. We can't expect such things in normal war. There'll be destructions for both the sides, but in this case, it only started for 2 or 3 days. But nonetheless, the effectivity of our weapons were very, very demonstrative, and their ability to defend and also less offend both demonstrated their incapability. Now, this incapability affects trade. Now, the share market, stock market, money always speak the truth. No matter what kind of narrative Pakistan make, or no matter what kind of a narrative that Pakistan can make and say that they won the war, of course, that's a story which they keep for their people who are by and large foolish enough to accept and celebrate, but nonetheless they would have some kind of trace of consciousness that this is not what it all seems to them or projected to them. Okay, that's their problem. But then they officially celebrate, they show their celebrations, they demonstrate that they won the war, all those things, and this really becomes very ridiculous for the people of Pakistan and also the nation of Pakistan. They become laughing stock for everyone, and that's a great entertainment for people. That's a different thing. So the stock market, the collapse of stock market and the rise of Bharatiya stock market, this is money speaks, and money doesn't speak like, it speaks what is true. Look at that, you get some picture. Then another thing is the Chinese equipment which Pakistan is using, including their aircraft, stealth and fourth generation, 4.5 generation, something which they say. These are all versions which has come out very recently, not in my time with the air defense when I was working in Bharatiya Vayu. These are all very, very latest. I must have been there 45 to 50 years ago with the Bharatiya Vayu. So those things do no longer exist. So whatever they claim, but with all such weapons which had put a show as something very, very formidable, they were proven to be useless. Now China blames the Pakistani inability, the Pakistani military, both army, air force. I don't know if at all they have a navy, so-called navy. Even if they are the small U-boats and small boats, I think. Now I don't call it as navy because it's not an effective navy. So especially the air force, it's inability of the pilots which creates the problem, or their inability to operate the Chinese equipments. That's what China would say, and most likely they're saying. I think they're saying that. But their popularity with their weapons were questioned by international market. And now someone who wants to buy Chinese equipment will think 2 times before putting money, in spite of they being very cheap. And the people, of course, would like to buy from Bharat when we want to sell, and that's natural because we have demonstrated our superiority and efficiency and effectivity of our weapon. This also happened. Now 12 bases are destroyed, as far as I understand. Earlier I was thinking it's 11 bases, but today I come to the 12 bases are destroyed, and it's not a matter of joke. When you get an airbase destroyed, I've told you just now, airbase means the whole system. Now, with this situation, Pakistan, I don't know how they will react to, and there is this question of radiation from Noor Khan airbase and the Kinnar Hills. All these complications are there. Then, apart from that, Balochistan has declared independence some days back, and they've again declared Balochistan as Republic of Balochistan. They designed a flag. They are getting a prime minister and other ministers. They are forming a government, and they have practically taken over all the important government offices in Balochistan, because Pakistani army can't concentrate on Balochistan. They are concentrating elsewhere. And this army, the problem with them is they are a very indisciplined army. A soldier, if it's not disciplined, then is worthless. And an army, when it is indisciplined, that's amazingly hopeless. And that's what China finds. And China is supposed to be very disciplined, because communism is a dictatorship for China. Communism, of course, is a dictatorship only for proletariats as per Marx. But then these Chinese have nothing really to do to Marx or Marxism or any kind of theories of Marxism or commune question. They use it as a dictatorship to rule the nation. And of course, their economic patterns are typically capitalistic. So China is a synthetic unity of these two opposite poles. To what extent they would succeed, it remains to be seen. Long time. They make very quick progress in short times. Now, this being the situation, the indisciplined army is a headache to China, because this indisciplined army has, on the one hand, it's in inefficiency, indiscipline, nature of the army that brought Chinese equipments to neutrality, On the other hand, the efficiency and the superiority of our weapons and our personnel, because our Bharatiya Sena personnel are amazingly efficient. That people, those who interacted with the Indians, would know how efficient and capable they are. Of course, they are educated and efficient and dedicated, because our ties are to the land, not to anything else. We treat our Bharat as mother. We treat Bharat as mother. That's our concept, and we belong. We belong mentally and emotionally to the land. Such belonging ties us, and that unites us together. Of course, our tradition, our Sanskriti. I don't use the word culture. That's right. Our Sanskriti makes us stand together. Just the last sukta of Rigveda is suggestive. It asks us to be together, Sangachadam, Sambadatam, be together with collective mind, collective consciousness, be together. That had been our pattern right from day one, not yesterday, first day. So our unity and togetherness is not peripheral. Our oneness is internally uniting Sanskrit. And that you just can't break. You can see, you must have seen it in the 1,000 years of domination of aliens in Bharat. Number one, the Mughals for 800 years. Of course, Mughals never ruled Bharat, the entire Bharat. And also when the British ruled, they also never ruled the entire Bharat. Though their subjugation was more effective than what of the Mughals. 800 years of Mughals and 200 years of the British rule. In spite of all those things, our strength and our unity, our dedication to the land remained. 1,000 years of domination, any part in the world must have lost their culture. Look at the Greek people. They had great civilization, great religion. They had great philosophy. Of course, only 3 people are visible, because then afterwards they could not take off because they were attacked and destroyed. They have lost their tradition, but that didn't happen to Bharat. The whole world was subjugated through invasions by other people, changing religion, this thing, that thing, changing demography, changing Sanskriti, changing culture. It had not happened to Bharat. Our Sanskriti is not, we have not lost. It's not just the case that we are not lost our Sanskriti. Our Sanskriti remains vibrant and strong. So all these things. So China suffers a great setback on account of the weapons, on account of the demonstration, the ability to demonstration. Number one. Number two, China is suffering because their production units, the international companies, are planning to shift off from China, and they might find Bharat as an alternative. At least some people, or many people, should find Bharat as an alternative with much better facilities than China, not in terms of technicalities, but in terms of both efficiency and language. I'm telling Chinese people are less, they're technically very advanced, but they're mostly copying technology, copiers, not real creators. But Bharat has the inherent potentiality to create something new. This is the difference between China and Bharat. Their religion is our creation, if at all they believe in any religion, and the Kung Fu is originally our creation. And they have expanded upon it, they have worked upon it, credit to them, that's true. But then, they're not that great creators. If you talk about creators, then of course Bharat should stand. And after the Jews, or along with the Jews, should stand in some respectable position in the global thing. So this is the situation. Now, on the one hand, Operation Sindoor is still on, but in abeyance. China is desperate because they're losing money, they're losing popularity, they're losing power, the companies might withdraw. If Bharat must have suffered some setback on account of this battle between Pakistan and Bharat, which if would have prolonged and if would have had some impact on our economic and our internal security, then the companies, those who would like to move out from China, would be thinking twice before they approach Bharat. But then, of course, they will have uncertainty. Nobody, money speaks. No one would want such uncertainty. But then that's not the case. The war is over. Not over. it's like that. And whatever goes on doesn't affect us internally. This battle did not affect us internally at all. I am also living not very far from the border. The way the state in which I live have borders with Pakistan. Few places have border with Pakistan, and there, of course, they did blackout, but not the place where I live. It's little far, 150 kilometers, so not much. So we were absolutely not disturbed by all these things. What happened? So this war did not, this battle did not make any impact on common people's living in Bharat, and other things were going normally. There was no change. Other things were going normally. So this would give a kind of surety to the companies who would want to invest in Bharat. So they would not hesitate. They would come. And with this kind of production, China knows it very well. It's only with such foreign companies creating or producing in China that they became very rich in the last 25 years. Otherwise, they were not that rich and powerful. It's only last 25 years they became very rich. And now it's because of that only their dream for becoming global power, number one power. They're number two economy already. They want to become number one. Next to US. I mean, overtaking US. Now they're next to US. So they have this, they get these ideas because they become rich. Now people, when they become rich, they get ideas. And many of the ideas will ultimately send them to the ruins. That might be happening to China. So China is a very shaky. Pakistan is already shaky. Now, Turkey, they don't like to be called as Turkey. They don't want to become state in Turkey. Anyway, Turkey was very good in the sense we were very good to them. When they were hit by the earthquake, Bharat was the first nation to help them. And the people of Turkey and people of Bharat, we have historical relations. No matter who rules Turkey, the people-to-people relations are always there. And the moment this kind of Erdogan kind of government ceases to exist, then it's very natural for Turkey to become friendly to Bharat. Same is the case with Afghanistan. People-to-people relation is very historical with the Pathans. The Pathans used to be freely coming to Bharat and going back in ancient time, and a lot of them still living in Bharat. Many times we don't know they are originally Pathans. They said that they were coming with horses. They were horse traders, and then they settled. And many Pathans are still living here, but then they leave us people of Bharat, and one with us. But then originally they are Pathans. Some people coming into my house for that are Pathans, and the way they still behave as Pathans, and the real Pathans, we trust them so easily because they have a record of honesty, integrity, and consistency. So with Afghanistan also we have people-to-people relation, and which of course is now evident with the government level also we have good relations. The situation in Turkey of course was supporting Pakistan. Azerbaijan can't help it, and then this is a situation very lucid, and we forget one fellow in the whole game. That's Bangladesh. Bangladesh was instigated. Bharat had very good relations with Bangladesh. It's only recently, with the deep state of US, created this Yunus Muhammad and is put there, and he created a mess of Bangladesh. And Pakistan, Asim Munir kind of person, he would not keep quiet. He would not keep quiet because insult these people don't feel. They don't feel insult. If they're conscious only, you feel insult. I don't think they feel insult. He's already putting his nose in Bangladesh against Bharat. So there is a saying coming that Bangladesh, in nexus with Pakistan, requested China, all these people coming together, you see, requested China to make an air base in Rangpur district, which is near which the people call as Chicken Neck, is a Siliguri corridor. That's a land connecting Bharat, the mainland Bharat to the northeastern states, 7 sisters. Now, of course, there are 8 sisters, Ashtalakshmi. And then this Bangladesh was claiming that they will make this portion separate. What's it? You would take a scissors and cut it off. It's not quite possible. And if that, Pakistan would try to do it because they're desperate. Pakistan would try to initiate Bangladeshis to facilitate or request China to make an air base there in Rangpur district, which is near, and then have relations with them so that they can reach Bangladesh through northeastern Bharat through road and all these dreams. Their China Pakistan corridor is already destroyed. That was a great China's dream, and they put a lot of money in it, and that's almost destroyed. With Balochistan declaring independence, and they're declaring themselves as republic. That CPEC is gone. It remains as a dream. Now, I don't think, if China is sensible, I don't think they'll put money in the sweet words of Bangladesh. They're Bangladesh are sweet lovers, in the misty words of Bangladesh, and go after them and make an airport there. If they do the mistakes, then that will destabilize in that area. Now, they can't imagine what they will face. Actually, if they should have taken some lessons from what Pakistan has done. The kind of thrashing they took from Bharat shall not change them. They cannot be redeemed. The word irredeemable becomes very effective here. They're irredeemable. This can't be changed. And Bangladesh, if they follow suit, then there will be a lot of problems. And to a great extent, and to call good time, Bharat can afford to remain unaffected. We would go on kind of normal thing. We will not go for all-out war. Wherever there is, they try to scratch, we shall give back. And this is what is going to be in the entire Pakistan-Bharat relations in future. They'll do something, we'll just give them back. And this shall go on. It's not going to be like Ukraine-Russia war. It's all out. They suffer economically. But here, of course, time to time punishment or time to time injections shall go from Bharat. And if Bangladesh also tries to join, then they will have greater problem than this. Balochistan should fall apart from Pakistan. It's almost, at least in words, they are republic. Then other areas, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa area and all, might follow suit. But Bangladesh is no less the Rakhine state, and the Arakan army can play good havoc, and the Chittagong Hills are majority non-Muslims. They would prefer the Tripura king to be their ruler, and Tripura is with Bharat. So Bangladesh also can further fragment if these things can go on, shall further fragment. Pakistan they've already fragmented in 1971, shall further get fragmented, possibilities are there. So in utter desperation, whatever they do, it will be self-destruction only for them. And as I understand, to a great extent, Bharat should remain largely unaffected. There should be minor setbacks. There could be, which of course we would be able to make reparations. So the geopolitics, we can't predict. These are the possibilities that came to my mind, which I shared with you all. Let's see what happens, and we shall meet with some other thought. Namaste. Jai Bharat, Jai Sri Ram.